this and charge a fee, then it's not going to be part of the taxes anymore. So it's going to reduce the amount of taxes.
Right.
But it should be the same amount as we're going to be charging as the fee.
Yeah, so as I said in the very beginning, okay, the homeowner will pay the same thing. Your tax rate is going to go plummeting down. Okay? If you bill out the whole 593 or 569, whatever the sewer number is, your tax rate is going to go down.
From what we're working with, not from last year.
13.5 points.
Not what the taxpayers should pay.
Not what was
Yes,
paid last year.
County assessed rate.
Yes,
Wasn't 13
the assessment, well put. Okay, that will not be what we, was going to be. So it would be down below. Because once again, you're getting back to the levy cap. And as I tried to say before, you're not going to be able to cut, in my opinion, 309,000 or 400,000, whatever the number is right now, out of this budget, without drastic cuts.
Well, we have to get rid of every employee.
The police department would have to go, on top of all these other little things you're talking about. Because of what you're dealt with here, that 400,000 I spoke about earlier. You're down $100,000 in surplus. Can you replace a little bit of that? Maybe. But the more you use that, you're not going to have it next year, you're going to be dead. Okay? $109,000 we spent last year, we have to raise this year. There's nothing you can do about that. The pension, nothing you can do about it. Health insurance, you can't do anything about it. There's too many things there. The court, decreasing the court. All right? Your revenues are down. The state only allows you to anticipate what you collected the year before. Those are known. There's nothing you can do that's going to change that. Okay, so in the end, they're really putting the pressure on the small towns.
So do they want us to lay off people, or what do they want us to do?
They want us to
Destroy a big non-existent.
But, I mean, if we're thinking about what this does for us, and hopefully we're working out so that people don't get hurt by what we're doing. This is just taking the amount of money that we're paying for them, that is counted by the state as part of that 2% that we've got to, keep under. So if we take this out of that equation, then it gives us, the ability to say, well, this is the only way we can see that we can get this kind of money out of the budget, still getting the services that you've always had at the same price and comply with state law.
And certainly, I would say this, okay, and we were at 13.5 cents, okay, before any of the cuts were made the other day, whatever they ended up being told me, because I wasn't here in the
I think
meeting.
we're down to about 11.5.
Okay, but, but now there's other things that are bringing it back up, okay? So you're still gonna be able to know, you may still wanna make other cuts in this budget,
What I
and
was
still
saying
have a
before-
sewer fee.
What I was saying before is you're taking the sewer fee, and that 13.5 cents is you're just taking the sewer and putting it over, and the taxpayers are still paying that 13.5 cent increase.
Yeah, so in the end, yes.
So in the end, they're paying a 13.5% increase.
Based on usage, but it may not be there.
Well,
It
yeah.
may not
The
be.
laundromat might be paying 17.
Right.
The person, the single woman on a well might be paying
5 or
Yeah.
6.
And that was, and that's exactly what my point is that, we were at 13.5 cents, and don't get married to that number because there's been ups and downs on other things, okay? But as a council, you can say in your head, well, all right, I've got a sewer fee, people are still paying 13.5 cents, I can't have them paying that much, I need to get it down to 11, 10, I mean, even though I get under a levy cap, how much other things can you cut, that the overall dollar amount in your mind is down to where you want it to be. I mean, there are that 109,000 that you have in
from last year.
from last year. Hopefully, you're not going to have that next year. That's going to drop out. Okay, so maybe we can use a little bit more surplus to bring that 13.5 back. Maybe we'll use like surplus next year's budget. You're certainly not going to get anywhere close to bringing it down $300,000, but you might be able to get to a more manageable number that you can at least live with.
How much did we cut out of the budget? Do we have that figure?
I don't, because I left.
43. 43,000 is what we cut out, and then the sewer bill went up 60. So,
So we lost 20.
yeah, so we're up to
In a
15
week,
and a half, yeah.
Points.
Now, we hope that maybe next year the sewer bill won't go up because that sewer bill fluctuates year by year.
You don't know.
Some years it's low, some years it's high, it depends on the flow.
So
Well,
you're
and-
saying that 598 might go down?
It could go
Could
down
go
next
down.
year,
Well,
it could go down to
and what
550.
and just thinking way ahead of ourselves, okay? If it did come back down, I would caution you against reducing the sewer fee, because really, it sounds like what we need to do is start putting some money away to be able to take care of the sewers.
Well, yeah, we'll know how big, good or bad it's gonna be, because we just finished this quarter, so.
Right.
Should know pretty
And we
soon.
should know pretty soon when they're gonna send us a bill, whether the flow
Right.
is up or down.
Right, I
Oh,
know,
I think it's gonna be up, for sure.
really.
Yeah, well, it's been raining.
The other side of this is the sewer fee, based on water usage, your residents are gonna be more conservative, they're gonna fix those leaky faucets and yes,
They won't be
Yeah.
flushing as much.
Well, they flush.
Not
She's
unless-
not flushing
No,
anymore.
that's only gonna happen if they have an outgoing meter. That's only gonna happen if they have an outgoing meter. That's rolling along.
Well, they're gonna have an incoming meter of the water usage.
And they're
No,
gonna- and they're gonna get a bill.
But you're not talking about the sump pumps that are shooting
Well, I
out the
understand,
water
I understand.
from the house.
We're talking probably tens of thousands of dollars as opposed to the hundreds of thousands that this whole plan encompasses. So those items, you're probably true, that some places we're not gonna be able to, get it exactly right to the penny of how much people are using. But I think the issue is bigger than that. It's bigger than, tens of thousands of dollars that we may recover, by people doing that kind of stuff.
And it's everybody that you have to pay this,
And
everybody has to.
Yeah.
Townhouses and,
And that seems to be a fair method of.
Yeah, I mean, if you choose to do it, I personally believe that the usage is the way to go. The flat fee or based on assessed valuation is really not a real fair way of going about it. Okay, that's, once again, it's your call as a council, and people have done that. So people have, I think, Bridgewater has a flat fee, right? Bridgewater's a flat fee, okay? Cranford, they went based on assessed value. I'm sure they had the reasons why they did it, but
I
If you don't know what a flat fee would be, it's kind of hard for us to.
Right, and Donald and I could get that stuff together. I will tell you this, when I worked for Montgomery Township, and they have a sewer utility there, okay? And they used to have a flat fee. We actually studied this with a subgroup for a year and a half, because they wanted a better way to do the sewer fee. We looked at number of bedrooms, which DEP does recognize. We looked at maybe alternate flat fees depending on what type of business and everything. And they did charge extra fees for like the car washes and everything else that were in excessive use of water. After a year and a half, it came down to water consumption. They do it a little differently. They do a winter reading, multiply it by 2, or a full year reading, whichever is to your benefit.
yeah,
How about, they must have wells. How do
They do have a lot of wells.
How do they handle it?
They
have a lot of septic fields, right?
Right, septic fields don't get charged. They don't put into the system. They did it pretty much a similar way. They said, look, you can either have the DEP amount, or you can put in a water meter, and what we will do as a town, we would waive the plumbing fee that you would have to get in order to do that.
How much does a meter cost?
It's about $150. It's not that expensive.
Outdoor meter.
No, income, water.
From the well?
The wells.
For the wells, you could connect it to the wells. Because what the meter actually, all the meter is a meter that you put into a pipe, and as the water goes through, it measures the flow.
we have one town in South, they have a flat fee that everybody pays, say, I can't remember, maybe it's $150. And then above that is, if you have usage above a certain amount, say they needed to raise, $598,000. Well, they did a flat fee of $150 for everybody, and then anybody above a certain amount had to pay something, they got them to their $5.98. There's a lot of different ways you can do it.
I guess really what we need to do is to be in agreement that this is really
Right.
the only.
There's no use going out and trying to figure out the different scenarios if you don't have a consensus around the table to do that.
Right.
Okay, well then I go back to the straw poll. Dennis, how do you feel about it?
I'm not ready for a straw poll yet, unless you want to hear a lot from me while I'm telling you what I think about the straw
Okay,
poll.
pizza.
We have 4 basic water systems in this town. We've got outgoing storm water, we've got outgoing sanitary water, we've got incoming Elizabethtown water, or whatever their name is, and we've got incoming well water. Cranford has probably got at least double the average tax bill in South Africa, maybe even
I
more.
would think they probably are.
Yeah, maybe more like $18,000 a household average.
Probably not that much, but
Well,
close.
Union County is nowhere near Somerset County, especially nowhere near South Falmouth.
That's correct.
I've been down this road before. Some of you may remember 12, 13 years ago, me talking, almost filibustering at this council table about sump pumps. And taking public works out after the storms and opening up manhole after manhole after manhole, which is why I can say certainly, with certainty, that it's still going on. The topic of going to a separate line or a separate bill for sewer fees has come up before in the committees I've served on. We even had a neighboring utilities authority ask us if they could buy our system. They had an incentive for wanting to buy our system. We didn't go that way because we didn't have such a thing yet. That would still be something that could be on the table.
Your residents are still gonna get a bill.
Residents are still going to get a bill.
And in Franklin Township,
However, if we were to take this step, we might be closer to being able to work out a deal for a neighboring, fully realized system to take over our system and make repairs and that sort of thing. So there's a lot to this. Generally speaking, I've been against it all the way. Number one, because if you have the type of billing we have for property taxes, there are other taxing entities that ask you what your property taxes are and give you a deduction. So if you start taking off the garbage and the sewer and the fire district and all these other things that, and all the other things the other towns charge for, the number you can claim, let's say in your New Jersey income tax, as a deduction for your property tax is much smaller.
Absolutely.
Having said all that, without filibustering now, I would have been in favor of doing this when it was revenue neutral. There's going to be, this is a tax increase, even though the state of New Jersey will not call it a tax increase, and that helps the fix we're in. Because the homeowners are going to pay a tax increase anyway. You were talking about 4 points before, and this is 10 points worth of a tax increase. With all that being said, I'm against doing this when it's not revenue neutral. I'm against doing this for the reasons I didn't pursue it in the past, but I think the state has us in a position where we have to consider it, number one.
That's exactly what
And I think we should be considering other things like the garbage bill too. That comes out to $138,000 in this year's budget. If we're going to do this, let's evaluate the whole damn thing. Let's get our professionals working on what's going to impact this. And the only way we're going to get any lower bill from Middlesex Utilities is if we stop flowing clean water. Now, I've always been irritated by this because their system gets overwhelmed. They don't treat all that water during a storm. When we get 4 inches of rain, it gets overwhelmed and it dumps into the bay and the ocean. It's always been going on, and that's why they used to give us a break when there was a big storm season. Apparently, they're not giving us the break anymore. I don't know if their facilities got a lot bigger, and they're now treating all that stuff. But part of the logic in that time frame was, well, we don't want to dump it in the ocean, but we're not treating it, so how can we really charge you? If we get flooded and it goes down the river, we all got flooded and it all went down the river.
And the canal and the river go on too.
Not if they're not treating it.
Well, yeah, but they're treating
sewer
sewer systems or underwater.
You know, you make a good point, and it's kind of off that subject, but I guess it's probably something to look into is, what are they doing with their money over there? And the reason, we just looked at another town, not in Hunter County, like its name, where it was a 2 or 3 town sewage authority, and the town